Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to my page. Guess who's here? Of course. Who's here?
I'm visiting Anita.
Yes, Eva came to visit me. She came on Friday, actually. And Friday evening, late in the evening. And she spent the weekend with me. And yes, it's been so much fun.
I'm here visiting Anita. Okay, first time that her and I have met in person.
Yeah.
First time we met in person. And we've known each other for 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Going on to 4 years. It'll be 4 years this year. August 2020, the first time I ever sent her a message on Instagram. I reached out on her Blossom Living with POI page during the pandemic in COVID times.
Yeah.
And was looking online for support groups.
You just spit on my face. No, it's okay.
I'm sorry. I was looking up.
She's talking about no, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was looking online for support for POI, trying to find accounts, looking online, and I found Blossom Living with POI account. And I just decided I'm gonna message her. I followed her. I looked at a lot of her posts, and then I just sent Anita a message, and then we started chatting.
And I think we just kind of connected instantly. Apart from just POI stuff, there were other things that we discussed. Like we connected on like instantly like this. I remember receiving that message that night. I replied. I was like, hello, who is this? I went to her page. I was like, who is this? And then I messaged her. I was like, hi, Ava, how you doing? We just started like
found out we have some things in common.
And things like that. We started doing audio. Before you know, we moved to WhatsApp and things like that.
Started video
chatting. And it's just...
Yeah. And then we've been in support groups together for a few years.
Yes, we have.
And then currently we're in your support group.
My support group, which is the Blossom support group that we're actually meeting today this evening. Actually, we're meeting today this evening as well too. And it's just been amazing. And of course, we created a journal together.
Yes.
I remember when the idea for the journal came. And I was like, I'd like to do this with someone else. Who can I do it with? And then the idea instantly, Eva just popped into my head. I was like, Eva. And we've not actually known each other for that long, actually.
Well, because we live in two different countries. I mean, Anita lives in Ireland and I live in Canada.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we always just talked online. We'd never met actually in person before. This is the first time.
First time. All the excitement is like, remember when she first came on Friday.
She jumped on me.
I jumped on her.
Yeah.
She was able to lift me. Yeah. I was actually surprised. She was able to, I literally I was like, ah!
And I had all my bags, and I just came out of the taxi at her door, and you heard the taxi?
I heard the taxi. She heard my voice from the balcony. Yeah, I was like,
and she ran down, and she opened the door, and she literally just ran, and she jumped on me, and I did lift her up.
She did. She's a strong woman. Very strong. Very strong. I was surprised. I'm not heavy though. I'm a bit heavy, but she was able to lift me up with her bags. I was like, okay.
She was so excited.
I was excited. I was
so excited too.
So, and it's been fun. Yesterday we did a bit of exploring around the city of Dublin and took some pictures. We've been sharing some highlights on Instagram and things like that. And just letting people know who was here. Someone special guest.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course. I've been cooking for her.
Yes, she's a really good host.
Yes.
She's a really, really good host. Yeah.
I used to sing myself.
How many meals you did? 5?
I did 5 meals.
She prepped 5 meals. 5 amazing meals.
African dishes.
African food.
She's practically, her taste bud is practically African. So she's able to handle the spice. Not too spicy, but she's able to handle it. And,
a little bit.
She eats, which is good.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to just come here and see who is here.
Yeah, I'm really happy to finally, we talked about it for many years. Oh, one day we're going to meet in person. One day we're going to do, and then I told you that I was coming on this trip and said if I could come visit you. And right after you said yes, and we talked about a date, how long was it till I booked the ticket?
24 hours.
She said, yes, this date worked for me. Boom, I booked it.
Next thing I saw, she's like, I booked the ticket. I was like, excuse me? And then she sent the confirmation. I was like, excuse me?
I think you were in shock for about 4 days.
I was like, are you for real? She's like, yeah. I was like, we just spoke about it. I was like,
well, you confirmed the date.
But I thought you were asking what they work for, maybe for, let me see if I'm going to book it maybe in a 2 months time or 3 months time. But 24 hours.
Gotta make sure those plane ticket prices don't go up.
The lady has booked the ticket, no time wasting. I was like, okay.
As soon as I got confirmation from work that I could go away and the dates, and she's available on the dates, and I'm looking on the tickets, why should I wait? Because the price is just going to go up.
True. I wasn't expecting it, but it was a great surprise. Like, okay, that's fine. And then, we're like, oh, it's a few months time. You're going to get it. Before you know it was time. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
She's here already. And it was, when I thought, I was like, this is so unreal. Pinch me. Are you really here?
Yeah.
Of course, I got to see her. She's tall. I've seen her pictures, tall, beautiful, gorgeous, You
are.
And I know. I'm giving you a compliment.
I actually thought that you were going to be shorter because you kept saying you're short, but you actually were taller than I expected.
Yes.
I would have to say.
Yeah, and I thought she would be way taller than me, but she's actually not. She's just slightly.
Yeah.
I think because you're 5'9".
Yeah.
But I'm 5'5".
So it's only 4 inches.
Yeah,
difference.
the thing is, I look taller, but even I'm 5'5", I look taller. I think it's just maybe the waist.
But everybody needs to know this. This is a very important fact about Anita.
What?
She's the fastest walker that I've ever met in my entire life. No, I'm not even joking. She walks incredibly fast. Yesterday when we were going through Dublin, I was jogging to keep up with her. She's like, that's her normal pace. She showed me her fast pace and I was stunned. Her normal pace, I was jogging to keep up. And I'm like, this is not just because I'm a tourist looking around. Like when I was actually focused on walking, I was still running. Like I'm just like running after her as she's gone.
Eva was taking the jacket and all the clothes, she's like, I'm sweating. I was like, that was just like a normal walk. She's like, no. I've been told a couple of times I'm a fast walker, but I didn't know that was that fast. Oh, goodness. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was a good exercise for you yesterday.
It was. I got my exercise.
Your exercise. Yeah. Okay, what else? I was going to say something else. What is this I was going to say? Yes, that we've been having fun. We've been just relaxing, eating, sleeping, trying to get her to sleep. I know because of the time difference.
I'm still having jet lag. By the time I get used to the time difference, it's going to be time to go home. Yeah. But that's good.
So, which is good. And then she's doing some trips around Europe as well too. So she's still going out. She's been enjoying her trips and everything.
I was in Germany and I was in France for a couple days. Yeah. But it's almost time to go home. I'm going home soon. So
we'll be going home soon.
Yeah. But I saved the best for last.
Yes, I'm the best for the last. I'm the special one. Yes. Okay. So the next thing we want to talk about is the POI, because now you know how we met, and we met for the first time. And, we created a Blossom Living with POI/Early Menopause journal together about 3 years ago. Is it up to 3 years or 4 years? 2 years. 2 years ago.
We had our 2-year anniversary this fall.
Yes, we did. Yeah, 2 years ago. I know we just, we've talked about this before. It came from our hearts just as a way to support women out there, young women, all women that are going through POI, early menopause, and a way to just kind of help you, guide you to the diagnosis. Or if you've been diagnosed for years, help you prompt some questions, ideas, and just to keep things in record, to have a special place where you keep a record of everything.
You keep track of everything in one place.
Exactly.
And it's cute.
It's cute. You've seen it. This is it. This is mine now. This is the journal. This is just one of the covers. There's a few different
covers. There's 3.
There's a few different covers that's there. There's 3 covers. This is just one of the cover. And this is the hard copy, and there's also like a soft copy as well too.
Got all your notes in it.
So I got some notes. I have some beads above my last appointment. And we're saying this, at the end of it, we share some stories. We have our story there at the end of it. So we share some story. We also send some embarrassing, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but some,
personal stories is called.
Some will involve, peeing on yourself while in peeing on yourself while actually in the changing room, because
we call that urinary incontinence
and mood swings. Not being able to, your bladder, when your bladder has to go, it has to go. But these things happen. These things are part of
we're pretty
part
open.
Of the journey. Yeah,
we're pretty open. We talk about painful sex and vaginal dryness, brain fog,
and concentration. We talked about joints and body acheness. We talked about tender and breast enlargement. We talked about sleep disturbance and anxiety.
Fatigue,
we talked about
depression.
a few things there, and then we also give you, talk about our story. We also give you some things on how to make notes, keep record of everything. So it's just
a few sections. So if I just say which sections are in it. So it has a spot to track.
Yes.
So we've got I don't know if it's going to.
See, let me try and
there
touch
we go.
it.
There we go.
You got it,
yeah. So it has, the About Me section where it has a point where you can, express yourself and, put some things about yourself. Your introduction and diagnosis. So there's a section to track your diagnosis information so that everything is in one spot concerning your diagnosis.
Yeah.
And then there's logs in the book where you can track. So there's an appointment log where you can keep track of your appointments and you write down the different, notes that you want to take, questions that you want to ask your doctor before the appointment, and then after and during the appointment,
and
noting
just
down.
overall the appointment, how was it? What do you think could have been done better and things like that? So you can make notes of those things and bring it up next time out of your appointment. So we're kind of using our own experience to prompt things that can help you during your appointment.
Because I know sometimes you go into an appointment, you have all these things you want to ask and you forget half of them. But if you have it, already beforehand written down and then you have a space to write the answers, it can help remind you what you talked about in your appointment as well. And then we have a section for test results. If you want to log in your test results, each time you get different tests, you can keep track.
We have medication log as well too for keeping your medication log, in terms of the HRT you're on. Why, even if you change HRT, why have you changed your HRT regime? And just keeping notes of everything to one place.
And for the HRT, we just did a video about HRT, which you can find as like a separate video on the page where we just talk about our HRT and we share both of our HRT regimes and what we've both been on for the last few years. And then there's also a section for symptoms where you can log and keep track of your symptoms, which you can share with your doctor. And the mental health section was really important as well.
That one's quite large as well too. So like there's things about how POI can affect you. We have that in there. Let's look at that spot actually.
For example, here's the symptoms that's section. Not been written in yet. That's an empty symptoms log section. But like the mental health has lots of prompt questions and space to write. Let's see which one you want to share.
Let me see. Let's see. Let's share the way it looks like actually. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, let's share the diagram. Like for example, see what we have here. So it tells you POI, how POI can affect you, and then we have some things and how POI can, some diagrams in terms of hair, vagina, and health, libido, heart, all those things. So what's and then we have some things, and then from here on, then it has the prompt questions and things like
space
that.
To write. This is the mental health section, and then and then there's also journal pages in the mental health section with prompt questions where you can actually have space to journal and write about different mental health topics.
Exactly.
Because mental health, as we both experienced, and a lot of you may know too, is a huge part of POI, and so we thought it was really important to have a section where you can journal and write about different
especially
things.
if you've been newly diagnosed, you're kind of processing something new for the first time. Like this will really, really help you to kind of just write down to if you don't know what questions to have, don't even know how to express yourself, to be able to kind of express yourself in there as well too. So this is really important.
I just want to say it is totally completely normal to be going through anxiety and depression when you're going through POI. Like if that is something you're going through, don't feel like that is something that is, that's wrong with you. That is something that almost every woman with POI is going through, anxiety and depression at some points. So really, mental health is so important.
It is important. And if you feel like it's caused by your POI, then that's something you need to get help on in terms of, proper hormones to replace it and stuff. For us, I advocate for HRT because that has helped me. I know how important it is for me and how important it's helped me Eva as well and other people. So it really does help because it's that hormone deficiency. You're deficient, using myself, and you're deficient in hormones. So your body is not producing it. And that hormones affect every single part of your body. So that can actually create a fact where sometimes you're feeling a bit anxious, or you're so sweaty sometimes, or just a lot of symptoms in your experience. You're like, what's going on? Then you need to seek help. But then if you're suffering from major depression and things like that, that's a bit more severe, then you probably will need to get help for that. You need to get special care and help for that to also help you as well. In addition to maybe taking your hormones on your hormones and things like that. you also need to seek help. It's really important to look after your mental health.
Big advocate for counseling and therapy. But what I just wanted to, say about that was like, there's no shame. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in any of it. Like all of us are going through it, and it's completely normal to be feeling down too when you're, especially at the beginning of your diagnosis and at different points throughout your diagnosis. There's a lot of information to take in when you find out that you get diagnosed with POI. It's a life-changing, altering, and if you don't have different supports around you, you can feel very alone. So it's really important to have the different support groups, to be connecting with other women going through POI, and to not feel alone, because it's a lot to take on, and especially with the infertility aspect. And, everybody's got different personal lives. And so different parts of the diagnosis can affect people very differently and very heavy, right? So it's something,
And just one last thing, find what helps you, if it's getting support, being in a group and things like that, do that. If it's your faith as well, let your faith also be something that helps you. Just immerse yourself into it as well. Whatever you think you need to help you with that, if it's being in a support group, if it's going to go and get counseling, if it's your faith, just do something to help you. Just don't ignore it.
Don't suffer alone.
Don't suffer alone. Acknowledge it. Don't suffer alone. Seek help. You're not alone. You're not the only one going through that POI. Don't feel like it's just completely self-isolating. It can be self-isolating. I'm speaking from experience. If for me to be where I am today, it took steps. There were steps I had to take, and it's growth. It's every day you're growing. So it can be self-isolating when you feel like you're the only person in this world who feels like that's going through something that no one else around you can understand, because there's no one else around. This is the first time I'm meeting someone face to face that's going through the same thing, like face to face.
Right.
Face to face. Like there's other women I talk to online so but face to face. So you might not always have that there's someone around you, but there's someone on the other side, and that helps on the other side. And so that can relate with you, because sometimes family and friends might not always understand what you're going through, but they can try and support you as best, but do what you need to do for yourself. So if it's your faith, you need to get help. Whatever you need to do, reach out and really help yourself. It's important that you take care of yourself.
Definitely.
So
I remember for years feeling like I was the only person who had this. Like I didn't know a single other person, and nobody knew about it. I got diagnosed in 2009, 2010. And in 2010, the internet and Facebook, I just started on Facebook. I just opened my first Facebook account. And, I really felt like there was nobody else who had this. For a couple of years, I felt like I had a really rare thing that nobody else had, and I didn't know anybody else who was going through it. So I really did feel alone in a lot of it, and I had to like suck it up and get on with it and do something, but I didn't understand it.
I agree with that too. For me personally, I was diagnosed, I was diagnosed when I was 19. That was a long time ago. But, it started in my teen. And when I started going through it, like I've said so many times, there was a lot of things I had to go through. It was really self-isolating for me, because, I buried a lot of my feelings and everything. I was just like, okay, whatever, I'm going through this, that's okay. But my mental state suffered a lot, and a lot of symptoms I was experiencing, I thought, what's wrong with me? But as time went on, I began to understand the importance and the impact of hormones.
When you start educating yourself,
when I started to educate myself, I started to educate myself and learn more about the HRT, why I'm feeling a certain way. I started to understand, like, just like honestly, hormones are not things you play about. They have a huge impact as well. So especially when you're deficient as well. So even though I was on hormones that time, I was on the right dose. I was still living with a lot of symptoms, and the mental health, I wasn't really doing a lot of it. I didn't acknowledge it for a long time. So when I began to acknowledge it, started to make effort and do things, I started to see a difference, advocating for myself. And I remember, again, I was alone for a long time. And I remember, when I first went online, I saw so many women out there, but I didn't see any women of my color, any black woman out there. I was like, okay, maybe this is just not a black person thing then that goes through this. But the thing is, like, we're women. We're all going to experience it. Women are going to experience menopause at a certain stage of their age. It just happened to be, for us, it's POI is a more earlier stage in life. So, and, that's what kind of prompted that advocacy for me as well, too, to start sharing, because I knew what it felt like. And I cannot imagine so many other black women, black young girls out there, that are going through the same thing, and they come online like, maybe it's not my thing, maybe it's just, and that's why I decided to start sharing. That passion was there for me to start sharing. So, however way I can support anyone, when is that crying now? however way I can support anybody, however way we can be able to support, and that's what also prompts the genre as well too. I wanted to come from two different perspectives, you know, her experience, my experience, to come together and just kind of share light and support each other.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why we do this video, to help each other, to let you know that, you know, it can affect anyone, but you're never alone, you know. You're never alone. You know, you have a community out there, you have others that you can reach out to that can support you. And definitely. Just know that yeah.
And this journal now has become something that, you know, was a really special project to us, and it is available on Amazon. It became something that we do sell online. And it has resources
as well. Loads of resources in there as well too, to help you. You know, places that you can go to learn more and things like that. So it's important. So it's available on Amazon. And we've received so much feedback from others and how much it's actually helped them and the impact it has made. So that was the intention for this journal. So we're really pleased about that. And
paperback and hardcover, and 3 different covers to choose from. And we put our heart and souls into the project.
Yes, we did.
And if you're not following us already, come check out our pages. You know, follow Anita, Blossom Living with POI. And I'm Ava Vanderstaren, and you know, Anita's got her YouTube channel.
I got a YouTube channel.
TikTok,
I got TikTok,
Instagram.
You can follow me there. Reach out to me, okay? I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I feel like you're so..." No, reach out to me and I'll, you know, message you out. Whatever. I might not message you right away, but I'll definitely, you know, get back to you. I have a support group as well as well. There's a support group, so you can join the support group as well too. You know, to meet other like-minded women, and you know, it's a safe space you can come to. Safe space you can come and share and things like that. Also hear other people's stories as well. So I think that's it for this now.
There was one question someone had asked about getting HRT in Africa, and we talked about
yes
you talk about advocating for Black women.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about where is POI at? You know, like what, unfortunately, the resources in certain...
she was asking, the question was like, she knows that Ava went to Sierra Leone for 8 months. She wants to know what it was like there in terms of getting HRT. How was it like that? And just in general, for me personally, like when I went home to Nigeria, and you know, I kind of went around just to kind of get a sense of how it's like with HRT. I went to a few pharmacy, and you know, I didn't have a prescription, but I was just asking, do you have this? And it was really hard. Like a lot of pharmacists didn't have things. It was mostly like contraception.
Birth control
pills and things like that.
Was that even easy to get, or was it not?
It wasn't. No, it was not.
It was also more rare.
It was also more rare. Yeah,
but that was what you were able to find.
Birth control, like it's more popular. It's out there for you. But in terms of actual HRT, estradiol patch, the patches, the progesterone, those things, and in terms of the progesterone, when I said in terms of the capsule, it was more harder for me to get in the area that I was. But I don't, maybe in other kind of city, but the city I was much harder for me to actually come across anything like that. But one thing I like is when I went for the doctor appointment that I went for, they were very familiar with the condition. The doctor that I met was very familiar. I told her, she's like, "Oh, so you're on the full regime of HR?" I was like, "Yeah." So she was very familiar with it as well too, but it was very hard to actually get get HRT.
Women's health in general, right? You can imagine how many women are suffering with maybe not even getting the diagnosis yet, and not knowing that that's the reason their period is gone, or you know.
I think it's just because there's also a stigma as well too there, you know, with women. I think a lot of the time, I said there's actually an article that I read a while ago that said, like, you know, in Nigeria, like about 1,000 women are diagnosed with premature. 10,000 or something are diagnosed with premature ovarian insufficiency a year. I can't remember the figure. I think it was 10,000. I was like, what?
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And where are these women? What care are they getting? What treatment are they receiving? What's going on?
What HRT
are they getting? Are they even on medication? Are they suffering? Do they even understand the condition themselves? Do they understand any support in there for them? So it's really like there needs to be more of that. And then there's like, even just from the community as well too, from the group I'm on and the Instagram, I speak to a lot of Black women, and you know, and they're so, you know, everyone is attached to their privacy, but they have this sense of like fear, and there's this sense of stigma and shame that they get, and they're not very open. They're not very open about anything about it, and they're just suffering in silence. So it's like, no, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to tell everybody your story if you don't want to, but at least you should be able to get proper care without being judged by whoever, your doctor or whoever it is, without being judged or without being looked at like you've done something wrong. So it's really important. The care, it's really important. The support,
just like the physical, the actual medications, the care, but then also the mental community support.
It's important. It's very important. Everything, I think it's really important. There's still a lot that needs to be done within the Black community, African community in general. So I think it's one step at a time, and it's so and I'm glad that for me personally, I get a lot of Black women that reach out to me for that support, for help, because they don't feel like they can get anywhere. So I'm happy to be able to do that, a space they feel like someone they can talk to, because they feel like they're alone. And a lot of the time they're seeking, oh, what's the quick, easy way to get something fixed? I'm like, I'm not here to tell you what's the quick, easy way to get something fixed, but I can tell you more about what you're going through, educate you, your experience, share more about my experience, educate you with resources and things, and give you some ways that can help you and some path that you can take. But if you're looking for a quick solution, that's so I think that's what there needs to be more of that as well too. And there needs to be an open community and an open discussion about women's health. There's different aspects of women's health, but this specific one in terms of POI, there needs to be more light shed on that in the African community.
Definitely. And my experience was very similar. I was living in Sierra Leone for 8 months, and I wasn't supposed to be there for that long. I had extended my trip a couple of times, so I didn't have enough HRT with me. So I was looking around to try to get some HRT. And so it was difficult. I did not find my HRT that I needed. Like you said, there was some birth control. I was able to find a birth control that ended up being like my backup option that I purchased if I wasn't able to find anything, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go off my hormones and go on birth control. But what I ended up having to do is my mom shipped me my hormone medication with DHL, and it was really expensive. And but we did it because I needed it, and I had to have my medication. And I saw a few doctors when I was there, and the one gynecologist that I went to in the capital city had never heard of POI. And so Sierra Leone in particular, I know the women's health programs and things that are happening, it's really lacking for women's health. And so there's a lot that still needs to be done and progress.
And that's why I like what you're doing as well too, in terms of how you're trying to help. Eva does so many wonderful things in terms of how you're trying to help the community and things like that, the things that she does there to support women's health and things.
We try small.
Which she's doing well. She's very modest, but she's doing some incredible things there as well.
Hopefully more to come in the future.
Definitely. One step at a time. One step at a time. So that's it. I think, what else went? I think that's it. Like I say, in different part of the cities that you might go in Nigeria, you might be able to find hormones, but where I was, it was just really hard to come across. There was birth control, but it wasn't really HRT per se and things like that. But I like the way the doctor, like I said, I feel like more doctors probably have more experience with POI and things, or know more about it. So just go seek advice. And I know for me personally, when I went to my appointment, one of the things that when I went for the first time, we were talking about the regime and everything. I was just trying to. And then she was like, oh, okay, you're on the full regime of HR. I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, do you have kids? Yes. I was like, no. It's like, well, you should do and go and have kids soon. And I was like, okay.
The doctor.
I was like, okay, but you know what? It's okay, but you kind of have to be. For me personally, I didn't take it too personal. I was like, okay, all right. Thank you very much.
The doctor I spoke to as well.
He said the same thing to you.
Well, he was an older man.
Yeah.
And he had never heard of POI, and he was quite rude. And he was like, why are you on this medication? He was like, just like, you need to focus on getting pregnant. And I'm like, you literally heard nothing about what I just told you about the condition. You don't know anything about it. And he was just saying like, oh, like what you have is like, he was basically denying that what I had is what I had.
But we know, the thing I'm saying, that obviously the patients itself know what they are going through. They're trying to get advice and seek advice from me. Of course they know that, they need to get pregnant or have babies. You don't know what their plans are, but I feel like that was a bit insensitive. For me, I didn't take it personal, but you have to be very careful with your words, because you could say it to the wrong person, and that can intentionally cause a bigger impact, a lot of pain, and you know it actually cause them to do something that they were not supposed to do because you just triggered a pain. So we have to be very self-conscious and be very careful with our words and things. It's because if someone comes to you for an advice, give them what they want. You know, you can advise them in a way that's like, okay, do you have a plan for this? Okay, yeah, they'll be like, oh yes, I have a plan in the future. This is my, but just saying, well, you should go and do and have a baby soon. It's a bit more. More careful with our words.
Yeah, there's other doctors who are definitely more compassionate.
And
there's lots of doctors who are more humble too. Like even if they'd never heard of the condition, they are humble enough to be like, you know, compassionate to someone. And
you can say things with. There's a way you can say something that's even if you want to say, oh, do and have kids. There's a way you can say it. That's not very like
without egos
like saying, oh, you better do and go and have kids very soon. Like you're lecturing. Why are you lecturing me? I know already. You can say, oh, do you have plans, you know, with this is. I was like, okay, you have plans. Or if they can tell, oh, yeah, I do have plans, or maybe I don't want to, maybe we'll see, but for now there's a way you do certain things and just coming up very
or if you don't know about the condition, just saying that you don't know and trying to refer you to another doctor who you think might know more about it.
That's just I just say there's just a way that you say things that can be a bit more, you know, compassionate, gentle, and you know, then just coming up front, because someone else might take it. Not everybody is the same. Not everybody can handle situations or handle things in the same way. Some people can just take it in a way that it hurts them, and then
it
that
depends
can just
on
spiral.
the day too. Some days you feel stronger than other days. Some
and that
days
can spiral. So we need to be careful. You don't want to be.
Some days you're
you don't
stronger.
want to be the reason for someone's hurt or for someone doing something they were not supposed to because you were so. So we need to be a bit more, just in general, overall, medical doctors, all of us in general, we just need to be a bit more careful with our words to others, towards each other. Okay, so that's gonna conclude the end of this video today.
We could go on forever and ever and ever.
There's so much to talk about, but we're gonna end this video here today. And so thank you so much for watching. We're gonna enjoy the rest of our day.
Yes.
And
I'm leaving tomorrow already.
She's leaving tomorrow already.
But I'll have to come back again. I'll just have to come back.
Summertime.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Summertime, then we can do more activities, and I can, like you said, force her to do videos. That's what she said. That's our words. I forced her. She's
like, when you come, we have to do videos together. And I was like, oh, I wasn't planning on doing videos, but I got.
She could have even said, no, Anita. She said, okay. Then she said, I forced. I was like, you know what? It's okay. That's fine. I forced you. You must do it by force. One way or another, you will do it. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.